Hi guys, it's Sam and I'm back with another video for Lawn Fawn. Today I'm making a card with the new Simply Celebrate More Critters stamps and dies, a Bug Deal stamps and dies, the Grassy borders, Stitched Hillsides borders, and Puffy Cloud borders. And now we're going to start coloring in all these images. And per usual, I color way more than what I actually need. Because apparently when I plan a card in my head, I think it is about the size of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. That's what it felt like anyway, coloring all these images and then not being able to use them all. But c'est la vie, right? I didn't know what color I was going to color all these bugs. I started with the roly-polies because, first of all, they're adorable. Second of all, great, that's easy. And then I thought, okay, maybe I'll color in these critters, little bugs, somehow with like a rainbowy color. So I started with the caterpillars, and I'm doing teals. And mint, I make it like a minty. I start with a teal and then a light blue, and then I add a mint to make it a mint green. And then I'm like, can I do a rainbow? I don't know. So then I go back to the worms because I know those are going to be orange. Orange, oh my gosh. I know those are going to be brown. So that's easy to do. And here I am just thinking, think. And I decide, well, it's not going to work with rainbows, but I'll just add some rainbow colors when I can. And I started to color the cute little ladybugs. All of these images are so easy and simple to color. You can see I'm basically just using 2 colors each. Sometimes I use 3 colors. For instance, I still use the dark brown and the carmine red and the red orange when I make the ladybug colors. And the caterpillars had 3 colors just to get that mint color, but mostly it's just 2 colors. The bodies of these dragonflies are a dark shade of purple, pulled out the color with my water brush, and then the dark shade again, pulled out with the lightest shade, and that's how I color all these little insects. A darker shade, lighter shade, pull it out. Of course they all get pink cheeks because I can't stop myself. I end up coloring these little butterflies orange, and they're super adorable orange. I thought, oh, that's perfect. They're little monarchs. But it turns out I need them to be red. So what you don't see is later me coloring in their wings a pinky red, kind of similar to but different. It looks different than the ladybugs because there's already orange there. I just color right over it with my zig markers, and that was that. But look how cute they are in orange too. You can see them in orange and red. I then moved on and colored my leaves. They're all colored the same exact way. Dark green, medium green, lightest green, leaving white space at the end, not colored in, and then I use my damp water brush to pull out the color. And of course, on these larger images, although of course, you know, they're not really large, but on the bigger images, I definitely use a circular motion when I'm coloring. I find that works out best for me when I'm coloring with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. It eliminates like the brush stroke, and as always, not a lot of water, just a little bit of water. And you can see my middle finger there is completely covered in marker because when I'm coloring, I like to wipe off the tip of my marker if I'm using a light marker on a dark color to keep it less contaminated. And it goes on my fingers. I don't know why. That's just how I've always done it. Didn't realize I did it until I did, and then by then it was too late for me to stop. So my finger is an extension of a craft tool, basically. I did use 3 colors for these tree branches: dark brown, mustard color, and a beige, and of course a slightly damp water brush. and then my cat Sedona decided to jump up and make a mess of things. Luckily, she got distracted pretty quickly, but yes, we call her my puppy because she follows me from room to room, so she's always near me. Okay, so I'm going to start ink blending, and I'm using Twisted Citron on the lightest parts of these. I cut them with the puffy cloud borders, but they're actually the treetops for my card. So I'm using Twisted Citron for the lightest parts, Mowed Lawn, and then a tiny, tiny bit of Pine Needles. Pine Needles is very dark compared to Twisted Citron, so I just need a little bit of shading at the top, and that is how it is. I did not splatter on my treetops. I thought about it to add like the texture of other leaves, but since I already had all these leaves colored and die cut, I decided no splattering. And now I'm going to color ink blend the hills and the grass, but it took me the longest time to figure out what colors, because I have the greens on the leaves, the greens on the treetops, the greens on the bugs. I didn't want to use the same sets of greens, so I settled on cracked pistachio for the tops and peacock feathers on the bottom, just to make it a little bit tealy, minty, I don't know, slightly different than the rest of the greens. I was sitting there wondering what color, what colors to ink blend for so long that my son walked by and said, "Mom, are you okay?" Because I was just staring at the colors on my desk, just wondering what to do. And I was okay. It just took me a while to figure it out. And in the end, I really like those differences. I am going to need a piece of white cardstock for my sky, and I'm just kind of thinking, laying it out where I want it to see how far down I really want the color to show. And I start by using Wilted Violet, Blueprint Sketch, Peacock Feathers, and Salvaged Patina. As you can see, I start with Distress Inks, but it is so streaky, and I couldn't get it to go away and not be streaky. So I switched the same colors, but I'm using Distress Oxides, and those colors just go on so smoothly. And even if, see, I have a couple streaks there, even if you have streaks, you can blend them out 90% of the time. I just, like I said, I just thought, well, Distress inks are easier and smoother, so that's what I switched to, and it was perfect. I'm just using a little bit of Mermaid Lagoon right there between the Blueprint Sketch and Wilted Violet, and then lastly Salvaged Patina, and just putting that kind of all over. And those are my ink blending. Easy peasy. Next, I'm folding the card base of my card because I'm going to need to trim the top part to put the acetate on as my card front. So I'm stepping away to cut it, and as you can see, I have maybe an inch or two or inch and a half of the card flap of my card base, and I am going to attach it, attach my acetate to the top with glue so it's not going anywhere. And I made sure not to leave too much of a flap. The treetops are going to cover that part. But as you can see, it is a way to attach the acetate to the front of my card without really showing it. And look, no flap, just the acetate. So I'm like, okay, cool, that works. I'm going to attach my treetops. And I'm just attaching it right on top of the acetate. That is the card front. And I use regular adhesive and glue. The regular adhesive helps it not move in right then, and then the glue helps it stay forever. Here I'm just kind of trying to basically set up my card to see how it's going to look, and to kind of measure loosely where I want each border to end up to still create the scene. And so I'm just going to attach the grassy hills and grass the same way to the acetate. And here I go, adding everything else to my card. A little bit of adhesive, a little bit of glue. This Lawn Fawn glue is the best. It allows you to move it while you have it on your card, but it doesn't, like you can still wiggle it around if you need to make adjustments. I use the very large tree branch on the right to go into those canopies, and then the small tree branch on the left with a second large branch on the left as well, just because I like things in threes. And I love how that kind of looks like, you know, a forest, entryway into a forest. And I'm tucking them under the canopies and hanging off the bottom edge just to create the look of the scene. And because it's all on acetate, I can kind of wipe off any extra glue that comes up with a wet wipe, and no one is the wiser. Okay, so this is basically what the card is going to look like. I had to see it all with my mind's eye, and now I'm just going to attach it all. There's the bugs with the red colored butterflies instead of the orange ones, and I just think the red pops a lot better than the orange. And I thought, well, since there's already red ladybugs, that'll help. Anyway, I put the sentiment right under that line of bugs, popped up with foam tape. I am attaching all these leaves with just the glue gun, with the jumbo glue tube. The ladybug at the top and this cute little worm have foam tape, so there's a little bit of dimension as well as the sentiment. The speech bubble also has foam tape. I am trying to get these cute little roly-polies underneath, just so their legs are a little bit underneath the hill. And I love this little roly-poly that I am also popping up with foam tape. Last minute edition, I called an audible. It needed to be popped up. And then I had a little bit of glue leakage, so I just used my wet wipe to wipe it up off the acetate. And then I'm just attaching these leaves underneath my tree top and around the tree branches. And I like the ones that have the bites taken out of them because they're so cute. And it looks pretty cute, but wait till I add the sky. I'm just attaching it with my glue, my adhesive gun, and then I'm going to add these little cute little butterflies right on the sky underneath the acetate so they're peeking through. And I'm going to finish this sentiment off with a heat embossing in white onto the Distress Oxide blended background. And it is just going to say congrats because, you know, it's a really bug deal. And there it is, a really bug deal. It's such a fun, unexpected element on a card. I love the celebratory feel of these bugs for you and how inside it just has, it continues the scene a little bit. And that's my card. I hope you all enjoyed it. And be sure to check it out on the Lawn Fawn blog. Bye!